Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Katie, and this is where we discuss true crime, politics, and current affairs. If you are a returning viewer, have you subscribed? Clearly, you like my content if you keep coming back for more. You are joining me for what I want to call This Week in Feminism, because these are the reasons we still need feminism in 2024. But we'll just go with these are some of the headlines that I thought were important. You may already hear that my voice is not the best. I was at my Brownie Guide group last night, and they're a loud bunch. So I had to be louder as their leader to get them to, not kill each other. So please bear with the voice. Hopefully it holds out. Let's go through some of these stories. We're going to start with one of my favourite topics. If you're a regular listener, you will know the Taliban. Oh, okay. I forgot this, but disclaimer, there will be swearing. So, talks with the Taliban, and no women were allowed. Shock horror, said no one. 2 days of talks between the international community and the Afghan Taliban have been productive, according to diplomats. The meetings in Doha were the first to include the Taliban, whose government no country recognises since they seized power 3 years ago. So if no country recognises them, why are they at the meeting? At the Taliban government's insistence, no civil society representatives were in the room with the Taliban officials, meaning no women from Afghanistan were included, prompting criticism from rights groups and activists. I mean, I would hope that it prompted criticism from most people, never mind rights groups and activists. UN officials met Afghan civil society groups separately on a different day. As the diplomats and media vacated the vast air-conditioned ballroom of the Qatari capital, has anything changed? There were no grand announcements, no massive breakthroughs, no solutions, but then again, none were expected from the organisers or the participants. The tone was respectful, engaged, and frank, according to different diplomats. The most repeated phrase was, "This is a process." There were no concessions gained, nor pledges won from the Taliban delegation. When asked what the Taliban government would be willing to offer, the representative said, "When we go ahead, we will see what the international community want and what we can do based on Sharia law. Whatever is against Sharia law, we will not discuss. Whatever is within the framework of Sharia law, we will solve it. It is a process and it will continue. We will see where it takes us and how much we will improve." End quote. The topics on the agenda were counter-narcotics and the private sector, easier topics to cover than issues such as human rights or the role of women. On the role of women, the Taliban remained immovable on their view that this is an internal matter. Quote, "We don't want to discuss these sorts of issues between other countries. We will find a solution for it back home." End quote. But when the BBC pointed out to him that there'd been no solutions for nearly 3 years, the spokesman for the Taliban said, "We are not ignoring it, we are working on it. We are finding a solution for it based on Sharia law." Bullshit, are they? That was me, not the BBC, I must state. The UN itself referred to the situation in Afghanistan as gender apartheid, where women and girls are not able to attend secondary school, visit parks or gyms, or hold certain jobs, among an increasing list of restrictions. Apparently, Afghanistan signed treaties before the Taliban took over. that agreed to human rights. But the Taliban didn't sign them, unfortunately, Afghanistan did. So they're probably not going to stick by them. After nearly 3 years of the Taliban authorities in control, the general mindset of the diplomats at this meeting was that little would improve in Afghanistan if there was not an attempt to engage, at least on the areas of some overlap. Women were not invited to partake in this meeting of international diplomats because for some reason the Taliban are scared of women. I can't quite figure out why. They can't be telling me it's in their holy book. First of all, that's fictional, and females existing is factual. Oh, it makes me so angry. I'm going to move on to a different story. This one, yeah. Afghanistan. Again, my favourite topic, the Taliban. Morality police crack down on women. According to a new report released by the UN, Taliban morality police squads in Afghanistan enforce bans on Western haircuts, music, and prohibit women from travelling without a male escort. They have put up banners in Kabul saying that women have to wear a hijab that fully covers their face and bodies. The Taliban government are carrying out stricter enforcement of religious law in Afghanistan through the deployment of the morality police, according to a UN report. It states that the Taliban has created a climate of fear since they gained power in August 2021 and set up the so-called Ministry for the Propagation of Virtue and the Prevention of Vice. In this report, the UN Assistance Mission in Afghanistan reported that the ministry is responsible for curtailing human rights and freedoms, particularly targeting women in a discriminatory and unfair way. Since taking power, the Taliban have also barred girls and young women from receiving an education whilst keeping women out of public jobs. The report by the UN says that the Ministry for Vice and Virtue enforces a strict interpretation of Islamic law that cracks down on personal freedoms for women and girls, whilst eliminating a free press and civil society. Morality police squads have the power to scold, arrest, and punish citizens who participate in activities considered to be un-Islamic, including wearing Western hairstyles and listening to banned music. The Virtue Ministry rejected the UN report and claimed its decrees were issued to reform society and should have their implementation ensured. The ministry rejected the UN report. There is a climate of fear and intimidation owing to the ministry's invasion of Afghans' private lives, ambiguity over its legal powers, and the disproportionality of punishments. The Taliban government has overseen a ban on women travelling without male escorts, enforced a conservative dress code, barred women from public parks, and shut women-run businesses. The Taliban government defended the decision to enforce male escorts for women, saying they are to safeguard her honour and chastity, whilst referring to Islamic dress as a divine obligation. I'm going to try and keep my thoughts till the end. Women in Taliban-ruled Afghanistan face increasing restrictions, including on their movement, speech, assembly, right to work, education, and much more. There are more than 100 restrictions concerning women's rights that have been introduced since the Taliban regained power. These rules vary across the country, and women's ability to work and hold important jobs depends on the industry. Women are still working, but the Taliban have discussed possible salary cuts. The Taliban morality police also enforce measures to reduce intermingling between men and women in daily life and instruct barbers to refuse Western-style haircuts for men and arresting people playing music. The Vice Ministry denied banning women from public places and said it only intervened in mixed-gender environments. The UN report is trying to judge Afghanistan from a Western perspective when it is an Islamic society, according to a Taliban government spokesman. All the rights of Islamic law are guaranteed to citizens. Men and women are treated in accordance with Sharia law, and there is no oppression. Okay, thoughts. Right. First of all, your Sharia law, I understand, maybe, perhaps, in my uneducated opinion, is based on your religious book, which is, again, fictional. And saying that they are enforcing male escorts for women to safeguard her honour and chastity. I'm sorry, what now? Honour and chastity. What exactly would happen to these women if they didn't need male escorts? Do you have men running around Afghanistan raping and attacking women constantly? Oh, and don't get me wrong, it's a problem worldwide. But are you seriously telling me that if a woman was to walk around on her own or with other women, they're going to be attacked? Why are you not focusing on the attacker rather than the victim in that situation? Honour and chastity, again, are made up bollocks by petty little men. And Islamic dress is a divine obligation. Again, your book is made up, it's make-believe, it's fairy tale, it's fable, whatever you want to call it. There's no big man in the fucking sky. Because if there is, why are people starving to death around the world? Tell me. Why do children die of cancer if there is this big divine being? And why is he not striking me down with a bolt of lightning right now for saying that? It's not a divine obligation. It is you and how you interpret your religious book. Women should not have to cover up. It's not our fucking problem that you can't control yourself if you see a bit of skin on a woman. It is not our problem that for some reason, if you see a woman on her own, your instinct is to attack her. That's not our fault. That is your fault. And you are breeding that into your society. Because now, if a woman is seen on her own, a man might think, oh, I can attack her because she's on her own. Because that law wouldn't exist if that wasn't an option. It makes me so fucking angry. Like more than 100 restrictions on women's rights. Why are we so scary to you? Please, answer me. Why are you so scared of women? Because all the Muslims I have ever met, all the Muslims that I have in my life, they have no problem. Some women choose to dress a certain way, some women don't. Some women choose to eat a certain way, some women don't. And I have never been judged by their standards as Muslims. They have never judged me, as far as I know. So don't be telling me it's Islam, because it's not. That's a load of bullshit. That's a get out of jail free card. This is just some tiny petty little man has got into power and has all these bizarre ideas and is surrounded by a bunch of yes men, so those ideas get implemented. Tell me you have mummy issues without telling me you have fucking mummy issues. Sorry for all the bad language, but it makes me angry. This is more information about how the Taliban, again my favourite fucking topic, have slashed the salaries of Afghan women. Some women government workers have been forced to stay at home since the Taliban seized power. The Taliban administration stopped most women employed in the public sector from attending their offices whilst continuing to pay them. Women who are at home and do not go to the office, their salaries are approximately 5,000 Afghanis, $70 a month. Women are permitted to work in segregated areas, such as in hospitals or schools, and they would continue to get paid a salary according to their position. Apparently, the group, the Taliban, have cut the salaries by approximately half. Only women whose jobs cannot be done by men, according to the Taliban's strict interpretation of Sharia law, are permitted to work, including doctors, nurses, and teachers. But they announced that the salaries of all female government employees would be $70, regardless of their job, qualifications, or experience. For many women, that means a drop of up to 75% in their wages. How does this Taliban government expect women to provide for their families? Afghanistan is already a difficult place to live, regardless of your sex. And now it's got even harder. What if they're the breadwinner? It's just, I can't believe we're in 2024 and I am discussing women being forced to stay indoors, women's salaries being cut for no reason other than they're women. And the next one, like, trigger warning, this is horrific. There have been some severely mutilated bodies of women found in Nairobi in a dump site. 6 decomposing female bodies were found in a quarry in the Kenyan capital of Nairobi, sparking a protest at a nearby police station. The alarm was raised following the discovery of 6 bodies, all female, in the quarry which was being used as a dump site. The area was cordoned off as a crime scene, and investigations suggest a similar mode of killing for all of the deceased. The bodies were found wrapped in nylon papers and reinforced with nylon ropes. They have been transported to a mortuary where they await a post-mortem. The identities of the dead or how long the bodies had been there was not immediately clear. It appears to be a dumping site for bodies, and they suspect that there could be more. They were all women, and all tied with the same colour of ribbons and the same colour of sacks. Angry residents who marched to the nearby police station were dispersed by tear gas as shots rang in the air. The horrifying scene comes after weeks of anti-government protests over a since-scrapped finance bill. The protests resulted in scores of civilian deaths amid a heavy-handed response from Kenyan police. Human rights groups have also accused security forces of abducting Kenyans during the protests. The discovery of the bodies sparked fresh public anger and brought new spotlight to Kenya's femicide crisis, just months after thousands of women marched on the streets with banners reading "Stop Killing Us." I've reported on this before, I can't remember when, but femicide in certain countries in Africa seems to be going up. This is why we need feminism in still. Whenever I see all these articles about how young lads are saying that feminism has gone too far, no, it hasn't. Until women are treated as human beings across the world, feminism hasn't even started. I realise I am no member of parliament. I am no influencer. No one will hear my voice who needs to. But I will continue to raise awareness about these stories. They're important. These women need to be heard. Whether they are in Nairobi or Afghanistan or the United States of America or even in my own country, I will continue to scream. Well, I say scream and shout, I'm losing my voice, but I will continue to scream and shout about it. If one person hears me, and if one person changes their view and sees women as equal, then that's all I can ask for. I am no lesser than any man. I am no better than any man. I am different. Every individual is different. The clue's in the name, individual. But my sex should not impact my safety and my rights. So, yeah, that was an edition of Why We Still Need Feminism in 2024. I wish I didn't have to do it, but there it was. If you enjoyed this one, I've gone back to my mainstay of current affairs. I would like to do more of it. We'll see. But if you've appreciated the information, if you appreciated me holding out this long with my voice, please leave a like, comment, subscribe. All the articles will be linked in the description below in case you want to read them. And yeah, thank you for listening. These are important issues. I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.